week off, get ready for this. How did that benefit your team?
Terrific. And I got a couple more wins over Bye. I'm still undefeated against Bye. And it was a guaranteed win. It was guaranteed weekend, guarantee win weekend. I stated that last week, and we were triumphant once again, and we move on to the quarterfinals.
You got to get that in your contract, your record versus Bye.
You know what? Like, for whatever reason, I've had 4 ADs right now, and none of them will put those bonuses in my contract for those victories over Bye. But oh well, life goes on. Life isn't. Is life fair? Life ain't fair. Get used to it, right? Right? Come on, give me a right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right.
We always agree with coaches.
I mean, you guys are the studio audience right now. Come on. Yeah.
So AIC, what do you split with them earlier in the year? Can you take anything from those games back in January?
Other than what they are, their DNA, the way they play, the way they're coached, we're going to be playing without a pretty important player to us. They're going to be playing without a couple pretty important people to them as well. Kramer is one of the best defensemen in the league, and he's an all-conference defenseman, as is Rowe, and they're going to be playing without him. And they've got some other injuries too. So we're both Air Force and AIC. We're both forced to kind of reinvent ourselves here in the playoffs. So we're in the same boat in that regard.
Well, you have the experience in years past of going on a run, winning the conference tournament, clinching a bid in the NCAA tournament. What has to happen this year in order for that to happen?
Well, obviously, you know what? I want to just say, like, the road to the championship has never been it's never been easy, but it's never been more difficult than it is right now, because just the competitive nature of college hockey with only 64 teams. Everybody's deep, everybody's old. You mix in all those fifth-year players. Like, there's no dogs. And you look at our playoff, our last place team, who we knew was a pretty good team when they came in here that last weekend, because we're playing good hockey, and Robert Morris threw a major league scare into us, and we knew that they were a dangerous animal going into the playoffs, and sure enough, they knocked off the number 6 seed. So it's never been easy to get to win a championship or get to the championship game, but it's never been more difficult. And I think in a quarterfinal round like this, like, that game one is massive, because, like, there's been so many in collegiate hockey, just because of the nature of the competitive equity. It's been, you see a lot of splits, not very many sweeps. So, winning that first game is going to be huge to whoever gets it, because in essence, somebody's going to have to sweep you to win the series. So we're just taking it one game at a time, and I know that's cliche-ish, but we have to take it that way. And we'll get into Friday, and then we'll deal with Saturday when it comes. But I don't know if you can compare this journey. Every journey's a little bit different. Every team's a little bit different, and in this one is. Like I said, I feel real good about what the team has been able to accomplish, going from a team that finished in last place last year and didn't make the playoffs to finishing 4th, 2 points out of second place this year, and getting not just a bye in the first round, but getting home ice. I think it's a massive accomplishment by our guys, and just because of everything I've stated, just because of the competitive nature of the conference and all the things that have went into that.
You mentioned Robert Morris, a big win for you guys, and it being senior night. How are you sensing, the excitement from the guys? Are they feeling hungry? Is there a chip on their shoulder? What's the energy level like?
With the Robert Morris series, you mean?
Yeah, coming off of that.
Oh, coming off it. Yeah. Well, first of all, like, we've been in the playoffs for the last month. I mean, because of playoff positioning and where you're going to finish, and are you going to get a first round bye? Are you going to have to play one of those terrifying one game first round playoff games? And so, like, we've been dialed in. We've pretty much been in playoff mode for a long time. So I don't think that going into these games, I don't think there's going to be any playoff jitters, because we've already had playoff jitters. We had playoff jitters on senior night, knowing that, you know, if we didn't win that game, there was a chance we were going to be playing a one-game play-in the following weekend. The boys found a way to get it done in a good way, winning a nail-biting 2-1 game, which is, you better be comfortable in those type of games, because more times than not, that's where the playoff games are. They're not high scoring. They're low scoring, and you better feel comfortable playing in a low scoring game.
And then having this first postseason game at home, what does that mean to you and the team?
Well, I'd rather be here than in Springfield, Massachusetts. I can tell you that. No, it's nice. It's nice not having to travel. I think, again, it's a feather in our program's cap and the players' cap, my coaches, you know, that we were able to earn a first round, not just a first round bye, but a first round bye playing at home. It's the first time we played at home in, I think, like 4 years. We played Mercyhurst back a few years ago in a matchup. Oh, that was in the COVID season, and we were actually, that team was playing well, they were playing their best hockey at that point, and we swept Mercyhurst, went to RIT for a showdown, and they were, again, one of the best teams in the league, if they weren't the best team in the league in the regular season. And remember sitting at the Marriott and by the Rochester airport when the entire season was called off, and we had to find our way home. But with that, I kind of got sidetracked and can't even remember what you even asked me. So if it matters, you can ask again. Otherwise, we can move on to the next one. Yeah.
Coach,
Yeah.
Coach, you talked about Luke Rowe, right? And you're without him, obviously, now. But how important was that game against RIT, where you guys won that game against a top 20 team without Luke to prove that, hey, we can win and move on in the postseason without one of our best players?
First of all, numbers-wise, I'm not the greatest in math. I'm a Bemidji State grad, not an Air Force grad. Nothing against, and there are some really good Bemidji State grads that are good in math. I wasn't one of them. But if we wouldn't have won that game and everything played out, we would be traveling to Springfield this weekend. That needed to happen for a lot of reasons. I think when we won that game without Luke. And to beat the best team in the league, a top 20 team, without arguably your best player and the guy that you're going to be playing without in the playoffs, it was massive. But for a number of reasons, and gave us momentum going into that final weekend against Robert Morris. Ultimately, it got us home ice here in the first round. The other thing we needed, for us to really believe that we can move on from round to round, and every round have a chance to win and move on to the championship. And if we get to the championship, really believing in the pit of our stomachs that we can win. We needed to win that game because Holy Cross finished second, and we got swept at Holy Cross in two tough, hard-fought games. Then we got our head handed to us on Friday at RIT. We came back and won that game against the best team on the road without Rowe. I think, for us, if we're able to advance that far, knowing that not only can we get it done against, the top two teams in the league, but we can get it done without Luke Rowe. It was massive.
Have you set a rotation off of that series of kind of who's going to play on the blue line? Obviously, you have Hedden. But do you have a rotation? Are you going to do multiple lines? What are you kind of doing to help
absorb the loss of Rowe?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I'm pretty. That came to me quickly because we've been talking about it a lot, and we don't have one guy back there that can absorb Luke Rowe's workload. It was he just brought way too much to the table, on the ice, off the ice, in the locker room, as a leader. And so basically, we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to do it collectively. And Baumgartner's going to be back in there on a regular basis, and who's an extremely exciting player. I mean, he and Hedden, we don't get guys like that very often. You look back and Cole Gunner and guys like that could lift you out of your seat. He has the ability to do that. Hedden has the ability to do that. So, obviously we need those guys to absorb some of those front side offensive things that we're going to lose with Rowe. On the defensive side, Sammy Brennan, Robbie, Starring, Cunningham helps us both offensively and defensively. Then we've got new guys that are coming into the picture. With Digby is back off his injury. Callahan played really well in the game at RIT, the game that we won on Saturday night. He was called into duty when Luke was injured. We've got Jasper Lester, who's playing a little bit of forward and a little bit of defense. But again, it's absorbing the workload due to the loss of Luke Rowe. It's without question, it's going to have to be a committee thing.
And in my final question for you, you talked about winning a 2-game series at home and how important that would be because you're going to have to do it in the postseason. How important was that for Robert Morris? Hey, we can win a 2-game series. We can win both games.
It's all you can say. It sure wasn't a negative, and it's a positive. It sure wasn't a negative, and and it's not going to be easy doing that against anybody. But again, the way the season finished, winning that final game at RIT and winning the 2 games against Robert Morris, I don't know what's going to happen this weekend, but you couldn't have scripted it better, for the final 3 games. And also, we didn't fall back into a first round bye. We didn't fall back into home ice like we earned it. And there's something about this time of season. You want to be playing your best hockey, and when you have a good stretch run, it's because you earned it. If we win this weekend, I'll guarantee you it's going to be because we've earned it. Because AIC is a good team, well coached. They're battle hardened. They've won a pile of playoffs, championships over the last few years. Had a lot of playoff success. They're not going to beat themselves. They're not. We're going to have to go out and beat them. Not just beat them, but also find a way not to beat ourselves. And some of the guys that are going in, filling in for Luke Rowe, are going to have to prove that they're capable of doing that shift in and shift out, and playing the type of winning hockey that it takes this time of year. And playing winning hockey this time of year, to be honest with you, most of the time, the teams that win this time of year are the teams that do the best job of not beating themselves. And so this weekend, I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see some people making some great plays out there, offensively, defensively, on the special teams. But ultimately, when it's all said and done, it's going to get down to goaltending and who does the best job of not beating themselves.
Coach, the last time you guys beat AIC, you got a shorthanded goal from Austin Schwartz. I know that line with Schwartz and Brian Adams was big this past weekend or 2 weekends ago against Robert Morris. Couple shorthanded goals. Talk to me about that penalty killing unit. Is that another place you feel like you can exploit that matchup against AIC again and potentially have success, given how they're playing right now?
Right, Hugh. And you can't really go out and design plays shorthanded. It's more of being opportunistic when Coach Doyle does a wonderful job with our penalty kill and gives guys their spots that they need to get in. And they need to be in those spots if the opposition has absolute control of the puck. Sometimes there's situations where they don't have absolute control, or maybe they bobble it for a split second, and he gives them the freedom, to go with their gut in those situations. And I think, with the legs that a Schwartz has, that Oliphant has, that Adams has, that Brown has. When somebody makes a mistake like that and they're able to get there and get their blade on a puck, there's a good chance that something good is going to happen for the Falcons. If not a goal, a scoring chance, or drawing a penalty to even things up. But our penalty killing has been good for a long time. But the amount of shorthanded goals we've scored this year is remarkable. Schwartz leads the nation in shorthanded goals. And again, it's not something that we work on. It's just, I think we have a lot of very experienced players. These guys have been doing this since their freshman year, and they're very good at it. They're smart. They're opportunistic. They know when to go. And when they do go, they've got the legs. They've got the legs to really hurt people when they make a mistake such as that.
What's going to be your message to the team this week? Obviously, AIC is still a very dangerous team for you guys. You guys won the split the series last time you guys played, but that was 1 out of, I think, 12. They had beaten you the last 10 games. You guys broke that streak. What's the message, knowing that even though you're at home and you're the higher seed, this is still a dangerous team?
Oh, no doubt. They're a good team. Everybody's good. They're good. But you know what? We're good too. And we're better than we're a better team than we were back then. We played them in the championship a few years ago. We actually, on paper, we shouldn't have made it to the championship. We went on a magical run at the end, and we went into Army and beat a really good Army team, the best Army team they've had maybe ever. And we went in there and then we played RIT in the semis, and we found a way to beat them at a neutral site in Utica. We got to the championship game, and we just didn't have a whole lot left in the tank. We were so young. We weren't as physically strong as we were now. These guys have had not just experience as players, but they've been in the weight room a lot. You know what? The team that played AIC in that championship when these guys were sophomore, like we were more boy than man. We're more man than boy right now, and they're a good team, but we're a good team too. And the message, Hugh, isn't going to be so much about, hey, watch out with hey, we're going to talk about their tendencies as a team and what their strengths are and all that. But basically, it's going to get down to us going out and doing what we do, being the best versions of ourselves collectively. And if we do that, I like our chances. I like our chances a lot.
Quick follow-up, talking about that 2022 championship loss. As a coach, is that one that sticks with you against AIC? Would you like to kind of pay them back for that one?
I don't know. I mean, they beat us so bad. It was hard to feel bad afterwards. Like, it wasn't like a heartbreaking overtime loss. And keep in mind, the previous 7 championship games in a row that we played in, we won every one of them, 7 in a row. Tom Brady didn't even win 7 in a row, So where I'm going with that, we were good. It was 7 in a row. Like, you got to be good to win 7 in a row, but you also got to be a little lucky. And we were both good, and we were lucky. So we got to that game against AIC. They were the better team, and our luck ran out on us, and it ran out on us in a hurry. But make no mistake, the best team went on to the NCAA tournament that year. AIC was the best team. We were not. We a lot to be proud of with our young group to climb that mountain like they did. But had we won that game, that would have been one. I would have, without question, whatever I had in my pocket would have went out right after that one and bought as many Powerball tickets as I could.
Last one from me, Coach. You mentioned it at the top of the press conference, but obviously Luke Rowe goes on to sign with Ontario Reign. He gets his first goal from center ice, darn near. Really cool goal. What was your reaction seeing that and the fact that he got a start so early on? Talk to me about how proud you are of him as a player.
Well, I mean, we're all of us are so proud of Luke Rowe and everything that he represents. He's the consummate Air Force cadet in every way, academically, athletically, leadership-wise. He's humble. Like I said, there's not much that kid doesn't have. I mean, he's got charisma, movie star looks, like and a great game to back it up. No, he's pretty easy to cheer for. He's pretty easy. Like, he's the all-American boy, and this is what a great story, and what a happy ending. You know, the happiest of endings to not such a great ending. Him not being able to go into the playoffs with his teammates. That would be 1A. But where things are right now with him and how they've gone the last week, it's pretty special, and it's a pretty good 1B.
Coach, I got one more. Do your superstitions change now that it's the postseason?
My what?
Superstitions. You know, your superstitions.
What, my superstition? Well, I was wearing my Shamrock underwear. Not anymore. They're gone. They didn't do a thing. They didn't do a thing for us. We had to earn everything on our own. The Shamrocks didn't do anything for any of the opponents, our opponents that we needed to help us out. So right now, I'm in search of one right now. I'm in search of one. I will come up with something. And to be honest with you, like, I'm taking suggestions from the studio audience. My wife is making me shower, so I have to shower and wash what's left of the hair that I have. I say I'm going to eat healthy, but I won't. I say that I'm going to exercise like I should, and I will a little, but not like I actually should. You know what? This old dog needs some new tricks. Can anybody anybody help me out? I'm open for suggestions. We do. Like, that will be the last thing, Rob. I got to put that on my to-do list right now. Superstition for the weekend. Because if I don't have one and we don't win, I know it's going to be because I didn't heed your advice.